The Daily Mail finds itself in a familiar position, breathlessly waiting for the Sussex camp to deny yet another fabricated narrative, this time about Meghan's supposed return to some island retreat they've conjured up in their endless content mill. But here's the delicious irony. While they're refreshing their inboxes and preparing their Sussex spokesperson slams claims follow-up pieces, Meghan's actually out there living her absolute dream life, unbothered and thriving. This particular lie has become so threadbare, so embarrassingly overused in their desperate playbook, that it'll likely be met with the one thing the Daily Fail dreads most: complete and total silence. No rebuttal, no statement, no engagement whatsoever. They won't get that expected rebuking they're so desperately craving, because why would anyone waste energy swatting at the same tired mosquito for the 1,000th time? The Sussex team has clearly learned that the best response to tabloid fiction is to simply keep living well, while the fabricators shout into the void. The Daily Mail's tired playbook gets ignored again. The Daily Mail has rolled out yet another fabricated story about Meghan returning to a specific island, and they're practically sitting by their phones waiting for the Sussex's team to issue an official denial, because that's apparently their business model now. But here's the thing. This particular lie has become so overused, so predictable in their relentless pattern of unsubstantiated claims targeting the couple, that it's going to be completely ignored. The Daily Fail won't get that rebuking they're so desperately fishing for, because while they're manufacturing outrage and refreshing their inboxes, Meghan's out here living her actual dream life, unbothered and thriving. They've cried wolf so many times that nobody's even checking if there's a wolf anymore. We all know it's just the same tired fabrication in a slightly different font. When fabricated stories lose their sting, the Daily Mail's latest fabrication about Meghan returning to that island represents the very definition of narrative exhaustion. A tired, recycled storyline so threadbare that even the outlet's own editors must recognize its transparent desperation. This isn't journalism. It's a worn-out playbook being run for the 1,000th time, each iteration more pathetically obvious than the last. The audience has developed a collective immunity to these repetitive false stories, scrolling past with barely a raised eyebrow, because we've seen this exact performance before. Different costume, same stale script. And here's the delicious irony. The Mail is actually for the Sussex's team to issue a denial, like a child poking a sleeping bear hoping for a reaction, because they know that rebuttal is the only thing that might breathe life into their moribund narrative. But Meghan's too busy living her actual life to play their game, and with each ignored fabrication, the outlet's credibility doesn't just diminish, it evaporates, leaving behind only the faint whiff of desperation and the growing realization that their tired tactics no longer have any teeth. The Daily Mail's waiting game. When silence speaks louder than denials. The Sussex team has long operated with a discerning eye when it comes to addressing allegations, serious claims, particularly those touching on matters of safety, welfare, or outright defamation, typically receive swift and pointed rebuttals. But here's where it gets delicious. There's a calculated decision-making process at play, a strategic filter that determines which stories actually warrant the energy of a denial. The Daily Mail, ever hungry for that coveted rebuking statement that would fuel another round of headlines, finds itself in a holding pattern, waiting, refreshing, checking their inboxes like teenagers awaiting a text back. They won't get it. This particular fabrication about Meghan returning to that island is so threadbare, so embarrassingly recycled, that it doesn't even merit a raised eyebrow from Team Sussex. Strategic silence, you see, is its own form of dismissal, a masterclass in not feeding the beast, in letting a lie wither from sheer irrelevance rather than granting it the oxygen of acknowledgement. The absence of a response isn't weakness, it's the most elegant form of contempt. Living her truth, while tabloids wait in vain. But here's the beautiful thing. While the Daily Mail sits there, refreshing their inbox, desperately waiting for that denial from the Sussex's team so they can squeeze out another 3 articles about the controversy, Meghan's actually out here living her authentic dream life. She's focused on her personal projects, pouring energy into her family, building the life she actually wants, instead of the prison they tried to script for her. And the best part? She's thriving, despite every manufactured crisis they throw at the wall. They keep recycling this same tired playbook, throw out some fabricated nonsense, wait for the reaction, then write 50 think pieces about the reaction. But this lie is so overused, so transparent, that it's just going to be ignored. The Daily Fail won't get that expected rebuking they're salivating for, because why would you waste breath on fiction when you're busy living your reality? The silence that speaks volumes. Not every fabrication that slithers out of the Daily Mail's rumour mill deserves the dignity of an official response. And the Sussex team knows this better than anyone. Some lies are so transparently recycled, so predictably desperate, that engaging with them would only hand oxygen to a flame that deserves to sputter out on its own. The tabloid can wait all it wants for that juicy rebuttal, hunched over their keyboards, refreshing their inboxes, practically salivating at the thought of stretching one denial into 17 follow-up stories. But this time, silence is the strategy. This particular fabrication about island returns is so overused it's practically got cobwebs on it, dusted off whenever clicks are down and creativity is nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Meghan's living her actual life, the one that doesn't require invented drama to be interesting, and the strategic media management by the Sussexes continues to prove that sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. The Daily Fail won't get its expected rebuking, won't get its engagement metrics boosted, won't get to play victim when called out for its fiction. They'll just get what they've earned. Nothing but the sound of their own echo chamber. The Daily Mail's fruitless vigil. The Daily Mail is sitting there, fingers drumming impatiently on their keyboards, practically salivating at the prospect of a fiery denial from the Sussex camp about their latest fabricated island getaway tale. But here's the delicious irony. They're going to be waiting a good long while for that dramatic rebuttal they're so desperately craving. See, Meghan's too busy actually living her best life, sipping whatever fabulous beverage she's got in hand and scrolling through her own content to give 2 hoots about their tired, recycled nonsense. The Daily Fail, yes, that's what we're calling them now, won't be getting that attention-grabbing confrontation they're so thirsty for, because this particular lie has been trotted out so many times it's practically grown whiskers, and the Sussexes team knows better than to feed the beast with the exact engagement these tabloid merchants are fishing for. The tabloid treadmill spins on. And here's the thing about desperation. It has a scent, doesn't it? The Daily Mail sits there practically vibrating with anticipation, waiting for the Sussexes team to swoop in with the denial of their latest fabrication about Meghan jetting back to some island or another. They've deployed this particular playbook so many times now, it's practically got coffee stains on it. Float a lie, wait for the rebuttal, Then milk that rebuttal for 3 more news cycles. Rinse, repeat, collect clicks. But this time, radio silence. Because even the tabloid's most reliable trick, the guaranteed outrage response, is subject to the law of diminishing returns. You can only cry wolf so many times before people stop checking if there's actually a wolf, before the sensationalism that once moved mountains now barely shifts pebbles. The Daily Fail, and yes, we're using that nickname because it's earned, won't get their expected rebuking, won't get their moment of manufactured controversy to stretch into a week's worth of content. They're shouting into a void of their own creation, recycling the same tired narratives to maintain whatever shred of relevance they think they still possess, while Meghan's out there living her actual life. You know, the one that doesn't require their permission or validation. The court of public opinion has rendered its verdict, and the tabloids are discovering, much to their horror, that they've lost their gavel. The Daily Mail's desperate gambit falls flat. As Meghan lives her best life moving forward, the Sussexes continue to do what they do best, completely ignore the baseless claims lobbed their way by tabloids desperate for a reaction. The Daily Mail can sit on the edge of their seats all they want, refreshing their inboxes and hovering over their phones, waiting for that juicy rebuttal that will never come. Harry and Meghan have long since learned that engaging with fabricated nonsense only feeds the beast, so they're staying laser-focused on their own narrative. You know, the one where they're actually living their lives, raising their children and building their brand without needing to address every ridiculous lie some tabloid dreams up over their morning coffee. And here's the beautiful part. Media accountability is slowly starting to shift in their favour. The public is wising up to these recycled storylines, these tired tropes that get trotted out whenever clicks are down. The Daily Fail won't get their expected rebuking because it doesn't deserve one. And the silence? That silence is becoming louder than any statement ever could be.